Hello there. All right, tutoring part 2, cells and energy. Basically know mitochondria, what a mitochondria looks like. Remember, it looks like that. Ribosomes is the other famous one we ask. Chloroplasts looks like stacks like this. So know what they look like and know what they do. Chloroplast is the organelle in plants that performs photosynthesis. Ribosomes is where proteins are made. Mitochondria is where ATP is made by cellular respiration. Formula for cellular respiration is on your review sheet over here. Where is it? Oh, right here. Glucose plus oxygen plus yields carbon dioxide as waste, water, and makes ATP as energy. So know about your two formulas, your cellular respiration and your photosynthesis. Make sure you know those. You don't have to know them balanced, meaning you don't have to know, like for example, C6H12O6, which is glucose plus oxygen, yields a water, carbon dioxide, and ATP. You don't need to know that there's 6 carbon dioxides over here. You don't need to know that. So just stick to the basics. So that's photosynthesis, cellular respiration. Moving on to the digestive system, know a couple of parts. Remember the difference between mechanical and chemical digestion. Mechanical happens in 2 places in your mouth. It's chewing with your teeth. In your stomach, it's basically the churning, the mixing that your stomach does. Chemical in the mouth is saliva, which has enzymes that break up starches. And chemical in the stomach is your acids, which have enzymes as well that break down proteins. So these two are the chemical in both. Next up, small intestine is where nutrients get absorbed. Know the role of insulin and glucagon. These are the 2 hormones that control blood sugar. One of you is asking for help. Insulin and glucagon. So basically insulin lowers your blood sugar. Glucagon raises your blood sugar when you haven't eaten in a while. Okay, what else? Bacteria, large intestine. Oh, so your large intestine absorbs water. What else? The respiratory system, just basically know the parts of the respiratory system. So you have like your trachea, your bronchi, your bronchioles, and then remember at the very end of your bronchioles, you have the grape-looking alveoli, and this is the place where diffusion occurs. So know that. That's a famous question on the midterm or any final, is know the alveoli. What else? Heart. Know the heart parts. So this is very budget here. You might have to look at your notes, but vena cava brings blood back to the heart. Pulmonary artery, pulmonary because it's going to the lungs, and artery because it's away. So this is pulmonary artery. This is the vena cava. Pulmonary artery goes to the lungs. You breathe in, you clean your blood, so it's oxygenated now. It comes back through the pulmonary vein. Pulmonary because it's long, vein going back to the heart. And then once it's there, boom, it gets pumped back to your body. And this is the aorta. And the aorta is in charge of bringing oxygenated blood to all your body parts. So know the circulation. This is pulmonary circulation. And remember, this was called systemic circulation. So review that. That's pretty much it for that. Let's go to the next dude over here. Okay, genetics. DNA, we said, is the code of life, and basically DNA is made up of these things called nucleotides, which look like this. Nucleotides, which in the other video we talked about what the 3 are made up of, and also that DNA is a code. Look at that, I'm making up letters now. DNA is a code, ATCG, which basically the letters, the sequence of letters, and these letters are called nitrogenous bases, their order determines what amino acids are made. So AAA stands for one specific amino acid, okay? And then that amino acid is made, and it hooks up with a bunch of amino acids, and you get eventually what's called a polypeptide. A polypeptide is a long chain of amino acids, which eventually starts to turn into a beautiful shape. And once the shape is done, we call it a protein. Okay? These bonds right here, they're called peptide bonds. So polypeptide, peptide bonds, proteins, all this happens in the ribosomes. This is called protein synthesis, the making of proteins. And the way it's made is, remember our story, Grandma's recipe. We go from DNA, and DNA is read by RNA polymerase, and that's an enzyme which can polymerase can read the DNA, reads the DNA, and basically makes a strip of RNA. And so we go from A, T, C to RNA will transcribe it to UAG. Okay. And then this is inside the nucleus. This guy leaves the nucleus, remember, UAG, and heads over to a ribosome. And inside the ribosome, this is called a codon, by the way. A codon is the 3 letters of mRNA. This guy's mRNA. And then UAG waits around for a tRNA anticodon, and the anticodon will be the letters that go with those letters. So that's going to be AUC. And so this is an anticodon. Anticodon is in tRNA. And then that guy hooks up with that guy and drops its amino acid, and then you get a long chain of them. Okay? So that's how transcription translation happens. Transcription is the first part, happens in the nucleus, and translation is the second part. Mendel stuff, we basically talked about that we can sort of make a new breed by mating a bunch of different things. That's called hybridization. And then anytime we have a trait that we like, we call inbreeding. Cloning, we talked about cloning by splitting embryos or transferring a nucleus. I'm going faster now because this stuff's very recent. Gene splicing is cutting and pasting of genes. Restriction enzyme, this is not on the midterm because we didn't really talk about it too much. Neither is that glue. Okay, so this stuff, and this is not on there because we didn't really talk about it too much. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so mitosis and meiosis. Is that on the next page? Hold on, let me check that. Mitosis and yeah, that is on the next page. So over here, basically, genetic-wise, let me see what it says. Crossing over. Okay. Remember a karyotype. A karyotype is a picture of your chromosomes where you have like all the chromosomes, like this is pair 1. So pretend you had a karyotype here. Remember, you're supposed to have 2 of every chromosome so that you have 23 pairs. We said that sometimes there's something called trisomy. And trisomy, those are diseases where instead of having 23 pairs, the person has 23 pairs, but one of the pairs has an extra chromosome, like a third one. So instead of having a total of 46 chromosomes and being normal, they have 47. The example that we basically said was Down syndrome. And Down syndrome is trisomy 21 because it's the 21st chromosome that is tripled. Okay? So that's what we talked about there, about a chromosome disorder. We also talked about types of mutations. Remember we said like cat gag, and you could either remove a letter, which is called a deletion. You can actually add an extra letter like that, okay, which is an addition. And then you can also substitute a letter, like this can become a G. All right. So those were the types of mutations that can change stuff. We talked about sickle cell anemia a little bit, which is when your red blood cells are totally misshapen. And when they're misshapen, they can't carry oxygen. So that was a type of mutation we talked about, sickle cell anemia. Sex chromosomes. Okay, great. Let's go to the last part, which is mitosis and meiosis. Okay, so I kind of reviewed this a little bit in class, but remember, this was the stuff, the notes you were supposed to get yourself, but I'll do it really quick. The whole point of mitosis is to make cells that are exact copies of the original. Okay, we call a cell with a full set of chromosomes called diploid. Diploid means you have a full set of chromosomes. that's mitosis. And mitosis, remember we said, has 4 phases. Prophase is where the nucleus starts to break up and the chromosomes appear and spindle fibers there. Next, metaphase is where the chromosomes line up in the middle. Anaphase is where something called the sister chromatids start to divide. And telophase is where, oops, that's ugly. Telophase is where the cell starts to break up into 2 cells. Okay, so that's mitosis. Meiosis is a little different. Actually, let me leave this up here so you can kind of see the difference. That's mitosis, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Next, in meiosis, you basically have 46 that go to 2323, and then those guys go to 2323. I know that looks weird. It should go half to half to half, but I explain. Here's how it works out. So basically, the first one has, instead of just being like 1 chromosome, you have the mom and dad pair. Okay, so that gives you your full set. The first, at the end of meiosis 1, the mom chromosome totally separates from the dad chromosome. Okay, and then basically the rest of meiosis, which is called meiosis 2, has just 1 chromosome in each, like that, and the chromosome number is halved. Now, the reason this is 23 and this guy's also 23 is because I've explained 1,000 times that this guy's a chromosome, but so is this guy. This is just a chromosome that has replicated itself. It does have twice the amount of genetic material, but it's still just 1 chromosome because everything on this side is the same on this side. Okay, just like that. All the genes are the same. They're just divided up. Okay, so that's meiosis. And that's pretty much it. I wish you the best of luck. Okay, bye.